Good evening all, welcome to Football on 5. All the goals, all the talking points on the way from the Sky Bet Championship and Leagues 1 and 2 coming your way over the next 90 minutes.
Yes, and here to dissect it all are Chris Iwelumo and former Wolves and Fulham midfielder Jamie O'Hara. Great to see you both, and here is what we have coming up.
Wilting Wolves have put their faith in Paul Lambert to turn their season around. Today they met a Sheffield Wednesday side yet to hit full throttle.
Pushed into Fletcher!
Kenny Jackett's rock-bottom Rotherham face Gary Monk's high-flying Leeds in a Yorkshire derby.
And can you win football matches if chances like this don't go in?
We begin with the top two in the Championship who've opened up a bit of a gap on the chasing pack.
Brighton, who entertained Fulham, were 4 points clear of Reading in third place. Newcastle, well, they were 9 ahead. And the visitors to St James's were third bottom Blackburn.
Who remembers the 1990s when Newcastle and Blackburn fought for Premier League titles? 1994 under Kevin Keegan was the last time Newcastle won 9 matches in a row. Danny Graham's header here was an early sign that Rovers themselves might roll back the years at St James's Park. On the cusp of a new club record, Rafa Benitez rotated his team. Christian Atsu, one of 6 changes. He had Newcastle's best effort of a disappointing first half. Until now, Blackburn have spent only 1 week outside the bottom 3 this season, but they were mounting a stern resistance. Jonjo Shelvey denied by Jason Steele. He was also kept busy from the resulting corner. Kieran Clark furthest forward for the Magpies, but Steele with his heart very much set on a rare clean sheet. Incredibly, it would come with 3 points attached. With 15 minutes to go, Charlie Mulgrew's volley had too much power on it for Carl Darlow, and Blackburn were on their way to back-to-back wins for the first time this season. An unexpected setback for Newcastle, who might have saved themselves in injury time. Top scorer Dwight Gale, who started on the bench, wasted his chance for a late leveller, and Newcastle suffered a first defeat since September.
You made a lot of changes to the side. Do you wish, in a sense, you hadn't made the changes now?
No, some of them you have to do it, and the others in the end you have 3 games in 8 days, and some players they were playing too many games, so it was just to be sure that we keep it the competition between them.
For us, it was important that we sent a message out today that we can play a little bit, we can be brave in the right circumstances, and that's what we did today.
Brighton started with all the swagger of a team who haven't lost a league match since September, against a side who don't lose many on the road, although when they did lose temporary sight of Glenn Murray, he so very nearly made it count. But the Seagulls would have their wings clipped when goalkeeper David Stockdale made a hash of a corner, and no one was more surprised than Kevin McDonald to see the ball cross the line, but it did. Suddenly, it was the Londoners who had a spring in their step, and Stockdale would have his hands full, redeeming himself when Floyd Aiti tried his luck from distance. Fulham's only defeat on the road came at Aston Villa last month, and you can see why they've been knocking on the playoff door with flowing football like this. Scott Malone almost applying the finish. But Stockdale's heroics would prove decisive as the home side muscled their way back into it with the goal of the game. Indeed, it's hard to imagine Sam Baldock will score too many better than that all season. It wasn't advisable, though, to count too many chickens at the Amex Stadium, as the Seagulls almost shot themselves in the foot once more. Again, the dangerous Aiti was invited to try and cause chaos, and he nearly did. But if that was generous from Brighton, Fulham's back four will have some explaining to do, as they went entirely absent without leave. Murray looked like he couldn't believe his luck, as he collected goal number 11 for the season, and all of them have come on the south coast.
If you're somebody that looks at the league table on a regular basis, you will drive yourself mad. So for us, it's about really thinking about the next one, thinking and putting into practice the things that we do well. We didn't in the first half period. Fortunately for us, we did in that second half.
Well, it looks good for him today, closing the gap on Newcastle to 2 points. How big a win, Jamie, is that for Brighton, especially when you look at the way they played in that first half? Could have been 2 or 3 down.
Yeah, I know. So to get a result in the end was fantastic for them. Fulham would, be gutted, but it's a soft goal they've given away in the second one. So, You know, looking at the strike, it's a fantastic strike. But again, you know, this happened when I was at Fulham last season. We give soft goals away, and
that was a brilliant finish.
Yeah, it's a great finish. The second one here is, yeah, they'll be disappointed with that, you know, for the back four.
I think what you've got to remember, it's like 2 very difficult home matches, not great performances, but it's results. They've got 4 points out of that. Even if they're trailing, they do the right things well. And they keep going, no matter if they're trailing, they keep going and they get back into the match. They've got quality, and like you say, Sam Baldock, like, what a finish. You know, and Glenn Murray, he's done it time and time again. He's tried and tested.
They've got a great understanding, those two as well. Blackburn, though, improving week on week, bringing that Newcastle winning run to an end. You have to say they deserved it today, Jamie, as well.
That's a fantastic result for Blackburn to go away, get a result. You know, Newcastle, it's a soft game to give away. You know, I thought they would have been looking to really push on there and, you know, make a bigger gap, but you know, to lose at home against a team, you know, that are kind of fighting for to get out of the relegation and stuff, then
it'll give other teams heart, that won't it? That they can go and win at Newcastle.
Look, the Championship's it's unforgiving. You know, you can't rest players, rotation. I understand it. The depth and quality that Newcastle have, yes, but Blackburn, they done the basics well today. Got them bodies behind the ball, and like you say, Callum Mulgrew, great finish, but it was well deserved.
Yeah, 6 changes, perhaps a couple too many today.
Well, he says he doesn't regret it, but I don't know. He might do when he wakes up tomorrow. Anyway, 3 more matches now, featuring the teams in the playoff positions. We're going to start with Norwich, who've lost 4 in a row to slip down to 6th.
Yeah, Alex Neil was given the backing of his twinkle-toed chairman, Ed Balls, this week, but when his side waltzed away from Derby with 3 important points this afternoon.
It was more of a slow dance in the first half at the iPro Stadium, but at least fleet-footed playmaker Wes Hoolahan was a welcome starter for a Norwich side who had lost 4 on the bounce. An early sighter for the Irishman was just a little hint at what he's capable of. Steve McLaren said in the week he was eager to put a marker down against a Norwich team suffering a crisis of confidence. But despite Tom Ince's best efforts, Derby couldn't quite harness the momentum gained from 3 consecutive wins. Soon after the break, a momentary brain fade from Jacob Butterfield allowed Stephen Naismith to scamper clear, but he could only force a smart save from Scott Carson. The Canaries had looked nothing other than serious promotion contenders until a month or so ago, but defending like this to allow Darren Bent a decisive goal on his 400th club start has really cranked up the pressure on Alex Neil. Then an entirely avoidable misunderstanding between Sebastian Bassong and Ryan Bennett sent Bent clear. And former Norwich man Butterfield very nearly scored his first goal this season. A typically penetrative burst from Will Hughes then helped another ex-Canary make Alex Neil rue the day he sold him. And didn't Bradley Johnson enjoy that one to condemn Norwich to a 5th straight defeat?
The boys are desperate to do well. I think they worked really, really hard for each other today, and if we keep doing that, we'll be fine.
Are you confident you will be given time to turn this around?
Yes.
It doesn't get much better than going back to your old club and reminding them just what they're missing, and Clayton Donaldson did just that, winning the penalty and then picking himself up to score it and enjoy a goal celebration of his own for the first time in 2 months. They have been fairly thin on the ground at Griffin Park for a Brentford side who haven't managed to score there in their last 3 games, but Lasse Weber was doing his very best to change all that. It was an eventful afternoon for Birmingham's Ryan Shotton, standby for defending that veered from the ridiculous to the sublime as he recovered to keep out Weber and keep the visitors' goal intact. The Brentford frustration needle must have been flickering in the red as first Weber and then Scott Hogan tried and failed to find a way past Thomas Kuszczak. If that was tough to take, imagine how the home side felt when Birmingham doubled their lead. Shotton again with the ability to be in the right place at the right time. Brentford haven't beaten the Blues in West London for over 60 years, and you began to feel as if they could play for the next 60 and still not do it. Hogan again denied. More pressingly, Dean Smith's side are on a run of just 1 win in 8 league games. And although they did at least find the net, thanks eventually to Hogan, they need to find a way to win tight matches, and quickly. Birmingham, though, march on.
We had to once again, be really resilient, and we've made a lot of blocks. We've made some good saves. We've hit the bar. I think one's got blocked on the line, but you've got to have the character to be able to do that. We know we've got to be better.
No stopping Reading at the moment, this their 5th league win in a row, although they needed some luck to get things started. First with a soft penalty decision, referee Tim Robinson penalising Horder Magnusson's trip on Dominic Samuel, and then with Gareth McCleary's spot kick, saved by Frank Fielding, but the rebound falling kindly for the Royals front man. There was a little bit of good fortune about their second too, just 6 minutes later, although Chris Gunter will no doubt be telling everyone he meant that pass to Roy Behrens. Nothing fortuitous about the volleyed finish from the Dutchman, by the way. The challenge for the Robins was to breach a defence that hadn't conceded a single goal in their 4-match winning streak. Keeper Ali Al-Habsi the main reason why. Bobby Reid frustrated not once but twice as the Omani stopper displayed a fierce determination to keep a 5th consecutive clean sheet. City were desperate enough to turn to any source for inspiration. Even goal-shy Gary O'Neill got in on the act. And he hadn't scored in almost 3 years. He was never going to beat Al-Habsi from that range. But the Royals did finally concede just 3 minutes from time, and maybe they switched off because it was O'Neill with the shot, and his last goal had come back in January 2014. 3 league defeats in a row for the Robins, but Reading's style reflects how their manager Jaap Stam used to play, giving nothing away.
If you're winning games, if you're doing well, you're playing good football, then you get a lot of attention. And I think that's what we, well, I'm not saying that we need that, you know, but that's what we get, and that's what the players deserve as well.
Looking really good, aren't they, Reading? Martin Allen, Chris, was sitting in your seat last week and compared Reading, made a few headlines for himself by comparing them to Barcelona and Man City. Jaap Stam, after the game today, said maybe people will soon say Barcelona and City are starting to play actually like Reading. Whatever they're doing nicely.
You know, and he wants them to play great football, play from the back. Great bravery from the players, you know, they believe in what the manager's saying, and they're putting it into action. You know, I think they're dominating games with the ball, they're using it well, but it's they're creating chances, and they're putting it in the back of the net regularly as well. 5 league wins in a row for the first time since April of 2012. Derby, Jamie, in a terrific form under Steve McLaren as well. 5 wins in 7 since he's come back in.
I mean, that's been brilliant for, you know, to get McLaren back there, and, you know, they're going to start flying now, and I think we're going to see them really push up the table and really kick on.
And the goal came from a guy that...
Yeah, Bradley's he's a good friend of mine, and he's got a fantastic left foot. He's, you know,
you see the celebration. How much would he enjoyed making a point there to Alex Neil?
Yeah, nice. Fair play to him, because he's a fantastic lad, and you know, he's a great footballer.
5th successive defeat, Chris, for Norwich. That's a huge concern.
You know, I think they've kept most of the players. There's expectation for them to bounce straight back, but like I've said, the Championship's a difficult league. When you're in that kind of momentum, losing momentum, it carries on, and you have to do something spectacular to get out of it. You know, I think he will be given time because he's done it before, but the players really have to step up now and be counted.
Quick word on Birmingham City, who are suddenly moving in the right direction in those playoff places, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Rowett's done a fantastic job there, and you know, they're so hard to play against. You know, they're organised. He gets them playing the way he wants them to play, and especially away from home, I think they're a fantastic team. And you know, he's done a great job, and if they can keep the momentum, you know, there's a good chance that they're going to be up there at the end of the season.
And keeper Thomas Kuszczak, absolutely brilliant
today.
A match with a series of stunning saves. Right, on the way next, we've got a Yorkshire derby with more than pride at stake. Bottom side Rotherham face Leeds, and Peter Odemwingie wasn't exactly making life easy for boss Kenny Jackett.
Welcome back to Football on 5. Leeds' visit to bottom side Rotherham is our next Sky Bet Championship action. 19
points separated the sides at kick-off, but while Leeds had scored just 2 more goals, 19-17, the home side possessed the worst defence in the EFL, conceding 41 to the visitors' 19. Commentary comes from Gary Birtles and Daniel Mann.
Here's Izzy Brown, given away straight to Kamar Roof. Different role tonight, but one he should rise to. Dukara. Good bit of work from him. And Greg Halford with the first of many interventions like that, you'd think. Charlie Taylor. Halford is still down. And Richard Wood urging a bit of calm at the back, but Greg Halford is in big trouble.
Massive trouble. That's just what you don't want. First minute of the game. Well, he didn't go for the challenge, and there, look, he just gets caught. It's not malicious. The referee didn't see anything bad in it, and you see that it looks really bad. If you had not seen the connection with the ball before the connection with the man, you'd have thought, what a bad challenge.
On a tremendous run, Leeds, 22 points from 33 available. Taylor. Well, into that space he goes, Charlie Taylor, beautiful pullback, and Chris Wood was always going to accept an opportunity like that. The goals continue to flow for Leeds United's main man.
Simplicity, but you have to look at Stephen Kelly's contribution here, or lack of contribution for me. Look, it just shows him inside. Just show him outside. Look, what's he letting him inside there for? You can't do that.
Ward up well. Here's Odemwingie. The flag does go up. Nothing wrong with that finish.
Did look offside. Straight away the flag went up. His assistant had a quick look at it, decided it was. You've got to say, Odemwingie, that is so unprofessional. You cannot be offside as last man on the far side.
Lee Campout, unable to grasp, but at some cost.
Yeah, it seemed to be a late contact, that did. He seemed to have the ball under his control, and then there was contact. Defender, well, said, come and take it off me. No, he just catches him on the legs there, doesn't he? That's a little bit late.
Well, he's going to soldier on, despite the pain.
Well, that was late as well.
Immediately the hand up from Odemwingie, who is dismissed. Well, a fixture that has a history of producing red cards sees yet another. And it's Peter Odemwingie who is dismissed. And just when Rotherham United thought it couldn't get any worse, they are down to 10 men.
Off, straight away, red card. Look, no, not even looking at the ball. Only one thing in his mind, I'm going to stick my elbow in your face. And he does. What a great decision by the referee. That's shocking.
Taylor. He's delivered the cross, which Camp is able to gather, but, well, you wonder just how much longer he continue. I think we have our answer.
Well, there's where it happens, that collision there.
If there is light at the end of that tunnel, it's still quite a long way in the distance. Roof, Dukara. And it finds its way in. Suleiman Dukara for Leeds United. In the comfort zone now, surely against the 10 men, right on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, it's just all too easy. Through Kelly's legs in the end. Somebody has got to get a block in.
Vaux's challenge. Ford. Brown. Vaux. Ford. Blocked by Cooper. Pulled back for Vaux. Well, Ayling absolutely hurled himself at that one to block it. And it paid off. Wadiemi hoping to get there. Bartley's header. That's Brown back in there. And Richard Wood is there and scores! And gives the 10 men hope.
I'll tell you what, they thoroughly deserve that. He's just onside. That's a powerful header. What an attempt to keep that out by Rob Green.
Ford, Vaux, on Vaux goes, oh, and Green gets enough on it. Well, they're living nervously. Well, Ford ready to take. A crowd scene at the back post. Well, where's that going to drop? Wood in there, can he force it in? Kelly's in there, oh, and ball over the top, extraordinary.
Goodness me, look at the bodies on the floor there. They cannot believe that that has been put over the bar. How did they keep that out, Leeds United? What a performance from 10 men. You won't see a better one. They've given it everything for Kenny Jackett.
There was a young group of players there at the end that ran, that chased, that showed some passion, and no little quality either. And it helped us to get back into the game and at least be close. There was a performance there at the end and a base of a group to start with.
I warned the players at half-time that complacency or taking our foot off the gas is the only way that can cause us trouble, and that's what we did. So we cannot be happy with that. Not happy at all. I just told the players there at the end that that's not acceptable with the standards that we set. That needless pressure at the end was all caused by ourselves. So no, we have to be address that and make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, Rotherham are now winless in 14, 43 conceded. You have to feel for Kenny Jackett, though. Lost a couple of players to injury, and then Odemwingie getting himself sent off. Yeah. What was he playing at, Jamie?
Yeah, I know. It's not like Pete. I know Pete, and he's not an aggressive guy. So I think what's happened is maybe he's had he's got frustrated. He's had 29 minutes. He's not probably getting in the game, and it's silly from him there to do that.
Well, I think it's one of them. I think players do go up and protect himself. I think he is going to take a hit, and he feels that there's a body coming, and he puts his arm up there. But the more that you look at it, it's just not like him at all.
Well, he tweeted while the game was still going on. The first one said, "I was unlucky with the red card. We all normally jump with our hands up to protect each other, and I expected his to be up as well." And then just a couple of minutes later, I think you'd seen the replay, he said, "I didn't mean to be caught, but caught the player and accept that the referee had no choice."
Look, you're in the dressing room. It's a lonely place. You're frustrated. You've let your team down. I think it's wrong to tweet, if I'm being honest, but like you say, he's in there on his own, he's seen it back, and very apologetic by the sound of it as well.
But an encouraging performance from the Millers in that second half, and it almost got an unlikely equaliser. How does this not go in?
I don't know how it's not gone in, and you can tell, when they've missed it, they're absolutely devastated. That would have felt like a win for them to get a point there. And
they were brilliant with 10 men.
Yeah, fantastic. And the one thing with Kenny Jackett is he'll get them fighting, and they won't give up. And he knows how to get results, and they'll get some wins.
Well, it's one thing fighting and doing all that, but like you say, it's individual errors again that's cost them. And it's all right saying, "Oh yeah, it's a great performance down to 10 men," but at the start, that's what he wants to see from the start to go on and don't concede silly goals like this. Stay in the game. They're showing the desire, the passion, the commitment there, but he wants to see that from the first minute.
Right, let's have a look at Friday night's match next, shall we? It took place 14 miles up the M1 in Barnsley.
Yeah, the visitors were Nottingham Forest, who added captain Chris Cohen to their ever-growing injury list this week. Your commentators for this one, Andy Hinchcliffe and Gary Weaver.
Winnell dropping deep, looking to link play up for Barnsley. This is Bree. Gets it back from Watkins. Winnell's waiting in the penalty area here, it's Winnell! Well, that is what Barnsley are all about, getting the crosses into the box, and a clinical finish from the Barnsley hitman.
Winnell is certainly onside when the ball is played. It's a wonderful cross, an inviting cross, the keeper no chance of keeping that out.
Ben Osborne has been left grounded after that challenge.
I know Osborne's not the biggest, but this was a clear high foot.
Lansbury gets it back from Kasami. That is perfect.
Lansbury does really well. The keeper moves behind his wall. That means he just can't get across.
This is Bree. Now Horahan looking for Hamill. Horahan again. That's Molly Watkins, and Watkins is onside, and Watkins scores. Nottingham Forest caught out. They were waiting for a flag. It didn't come. There was no hanging around though for Molly Watkins.
Oh, it's defensive disarray here from Nottingham Forest. And after Forest had just equalised, never more vulnerable, and now they're 2-1 down.
Fox. Osborne. Back to Danny Fox. Lansbury was looking in the middle, and Velios. And it's looped in. Well, that's a poacher's goal.
One attacking touch, and we'll all scare again.
Velios has done well. He's got Osborne out wide. Lansbury He's waiting inside the penalty area. Osborne looking for Henry Lansbury, and for the first time tonight, Nottingham Forest are in front.
It's a magnificent run from Lansbury. The way he turns it home, might have a bit of good fortune. Maybe Cannon's off his shoulder, but he doesn't care.
Barnsley with a man down here. Forest not hanging around. It's Mancien's cross, and it's a wonderful header from Ben Osborne. Barnsley with a man down, they complain, but Forest with breathing space now.
It's Adam Jackson who actually goes to ground. The referee just lets the game flow. And a 2-goal cushion for Forest. Could that be enough to see them through to the 3 points?
Watkins and Thomas Lamb getting involved, and it is a red card for Marley Watkins.
It's not the worst stamp you'll ever see. Just the frustration, I think, that Barnsley are feeling. You can't afford to do that. You just can't, because the referee, who's in a good position, is going to see it, and he's going to send you off.
Thomas Lamb taking aim as Cash went down right on the edge of the penalty area, and the referee has pointed to a spot kick.
Yeah, Matt Cash, you can see, saying to the referee that was inside the box, and I think he is right.
Lansbury, no messing about. He has written his name all over this game tonight.
No, it's as cool as you like. Exactly the right man to take a penalty in this situation. Of course, on a hat-trick, maybe he was always going to take it. And that is game, set and match.
Henry, a first ever career hat-trick. What does that mean to you tonight and to Nottingham Forest?
I think we're more worried about the points at the minute, so it's good to get 3 points and get us back in winning ways.
Well, you know, if you go and watch Forest, you're going to get goals. Not all at the right end. They average 3.5 goals per game that they're involved in. Jamie, you were especially impressed with that man we just saw who scored the hat-trick.
Yeah, he's a fantastic hat-trick, and he's brilliant for Nottingham Forest. The first one here, we were saying that the keeper moves and kind of protect that side, but it's he'll take that one. It's a good finish.
That's why he's played the little tap first to get the keeper moving.
Yeah, and the second one, he's broke his neck to get there. It's a fantastic header.
A little bit of shoulder on that?
Yeah, I think he'll take the shoulder. Cool as a cucumber as well. He's good from there.
Now, we saw already earlier that the Peter Odemwingie red card, which perhaps was 2 sendings off in one incident, the severity of it. The Marley Watkins in this, you weren't too sure it was a red at all.
Well, I think it's harsh. You know, I think Marley Watkins and Tom, he does go to stamp on Thomas Lamb there, but I think it's reaction. Lamb's reaction, the ref actually seen that movement that he's going to, but he does pull out in the end. But it's I think the Thomas Lamb's reaction that's got him sent off.
Which now winning 7 for Barnsley as well, having started the season so well. On the way after the break, we're going to go to Molineux. Could new boss there, Paul Lambert, sweep away the gloom against Sheffield Wednesday? This is Football on 5. You're watching highlights from the Sky Bet Championship. We're going to go to Molineux next for Paul Lambert's first home game as the new Wolves boss.
Yeah, the visitors were Sheffield Wednesday, winless in 3 and yet to show the form that took them to the playoff final last season. Your commentator for this one is Paul Walker.
Cody. Costa. Chance for Wolves to bring it forward with Iorfa. Cody looking for the give and go, and he's got it. Lovely skill, Connor Cody. Brilliant skill to set himself up. Well, this would have been one of the goals of the season. And Connor Cody managed to get this one home. Here's Leeds. Spots Bannon out on the left. Delivers first time, lovely cross! Nobody could get there, but Forestieri goes down, and that is a penalty. It was a lovely ball in initially from Bannon, and Doherty goes piling in to Forestieri. It's Forestieri. It is 1-0 Sheffield Wednesday.
Another early goal conceded by Wolves. Forestieri sending Lonergan the wrong way.
Perfect start for his team. Just outside the playoff positions coming into this. And it's broken beautifully for Kieran Lee, and now Wallace and Forestieri's all alone in the centre if he can find him. This is Lee, turning to the middle again, it's Barry Bannon! Should have done much, much better, and he knows it. Manages to clear the crossbar with his effort. And that's good chasing down by Forestieri, who suddenly is in. Lonergan coming out, squared across for Lucas João. And Lee is arriving as well, it's two! Barely half an hour gone, and Sheffield Wednesday are firmly in charge at Molineux. A nightmare start for Paul Lambert in this, his first home game in charge. And Wolves now have a mountain to climb, and Kieran Lee bags another one. Forestieri was looking for Lucas João, who then spotted Kieran Lee, who steers into an empty net. Wolves 0, Sheffield Wednesday 2. How do Wolves come back from this? João keeping his feet, eventually taken off them by Price. Managed to get clear of George Saville and stay on his feet. Price clips his heels. It's Wallace who goes for it! Mightily close. Andy Lonergan will be a relieved man to see that one go wide. Held up brilliantly by Forestieri, and now he's going to send Wallace on his way, and the white shirts are streaming forward. Forestieri's in the centre. It's Roth Wallace. It's an own goal, is it? No. Sheffield Wednesday really should have made more of this as well. He could be well and truly out of sight. Dicko could be in here, the angle is tight. And he's fired it over the top. And spare in the middle as well. Edwards. Varson making a move into the middle. Cody was in there, but before it can reach any of them, Kieran Lee slid in to concede a corner. Sent in by Price here. Header at goal by Horse. And good hands from Kieran Westwood. Westwood watched that all the way. Here's Cavallero. Edwards takes it on. Rolled into Dicko, who's got there ahead of reach. Cody delivers. Edwards with a touch, and a goal chance here for Cavallero. Fantastic chance for Wolves to get back into this. Forestieri jinking away from Stearman and Cody, and finding Bannon. Wallace. Wednesday really put this game to bed once and for all. Pushed into Fletcher! Inches away from making it 3. Has gone for a corner, but Wallace with the outside of the boot plays in a delightful ball, and Fletcher just couldn't make contact. That is not a good header from Courtney Hawes, and Forestieri's in. And Lonergan is quick to get to the edge of his box. Forestieri is always waiting for any kind of mistake to happen. And Lonergan, good goalkeeping actually from him. And he's got a tough job on his hands. If he didn't know it before, he does now. And now here is Doherty. Turn it into the middle, and Cavallero trying to round Westwood. He pulls off an excellent save. tries to go around the outside, spreads himself and blocks the shot.
You've seen the fans today, they were fantastic, great atmosphere in the ground, and we never delivered. That's the nature of the game, but you've got to defend better as a team. And that was the difference today, I thought, was the defensive.
Well, they would have done well to defend against Fernando Forestieri today, Chris. He was class, wasn't he? Won and scored the penalty, involved in the second. Just how good is he?
You know what, he just ticks all boxes. You know, he knows he's going to take a hit here, but he's a fantastic technical player, great character, and I love playing with him. He's done a lot of my running for me, to be fair, but he's got everything. You know, he scores goals, his work rate, he chases things down, he's composed in these situations. You know, he's non-stop, he's always on the move, looking for different angles, areas. Here he's chasing down again, look at him, you know, and then after this, he's had that burst, but the composure, this little knock into the path, you know, it's outstanding. You know, and it's that was his issue at Watford, probably not consistently showing this, but he's doing that at Sheffield Wednesday. You know, and again, every time he's getting the ball, he's looking for the next move. He's a couple of steps ahead every opportunity, and most of the time he makes the right decision.
But looking back to his best, that's for sure, after a difficult start to the season. Wolves, though, Jamie, winless in 9. That's 4 home defeats in a row now. Just how much of a mess has Paul Lambert inherited there?
Well, it's a massive club, and I had a tough time there. And you know, if things aren't going well for you, it can be really, you know, it can be hard to play at home. And you know, we ended up preferring to play away from home because you know the fans can get frustrated, and you know they've got a massive following. You know, and I think they need to start picking up some results. And you know, Paul Lambert is definitely the right man for the job.
That's not healthy, wanting to play away from home, is it?
That's it's a difficult situation because you know you're low on confidence, things aren't going well. You know you're at a big club like Wolves, and you start to doubt yourself at home. You start doing things that you might not. You know, you just feel uncomfortable. So. You know, I think they'll be all right. You know, they've got a good squad of players, they've got loads of experience, and you know, they'll find a way to get out of it.
Well, with the money that's spent, the fans are certainly not expecting to be just outside of the relegation zone. OK, stay with us for more action coming up from the Sky Bet Championship, where a change of manager certainly looks to have shaken things up at Villa Park. You're watching highlights from the Sky Bet Championship on Football on 5. Now, sacking the manager has been a hard habit to kick for some clubs, but they're still on a high at Aston Villa and Cardiff, George.
Yeah, 6 games each in charge thus far for Steve Bruce and for Neil Warnock as well, but who was in 7th heaven today, Chris?
Well, I've got to say, Cardiff had the better of it at the start. They started better. Aaron Gunnarsson here, long throw. Sean Morrison does his job, flicks on. Junior Hoylett, it's got to be a goal or at least hit the target there for me. Nathan Baker here, long ball in behind, and Kodja. You know, he's got one thing in mind. Can he get that yard? Morrison does well, but you know what? Ben Amos there had it covered, I would say.
He's made a big impression, Kodja.
He's been outstanding. You know, he scores goals. Jordan Mamavi here, he's so direct every time he gets the ball. I've got to say, Sean Morrison, can you stop the cross? Great first touch by Adoma there in the back of the net, composed as you like. Different class.
So you'd have a question mark over the defending on that?
Yeah, for sure. And here, come back to Gunnarsson, and I've got to say, Alan Hutton, get into position there. You can't leave Ricky Lambert in the box unmarked. And what does he do? Time and time again, puts it in the back of the net. Kodja starts this move, I've got to say, suspect defending again. So Bamba does his job, clears it again. But look at this, Adoma lifts it. I'll go and attack it. Kodja wants it more.
And look at the reaction as well.
Well, he's asking for a push. There is hands on the back, but, you know, go and head it. This is a half chance here. Same one again, long throw. Morrison flicks on. Hoylett, can he do a little bit more there? Put it on top, but Jack Grealish, he ran the show today.
This guy's come back.
Oh, yeah, he has, and he's working very hard. I'd say a fit, regularly playing a Bournemouth puts that one in the back of the net, but Jack Grealish, what a fantastic pass. Again here, great bit of skill. Lee Peltier comes in, leaves it in. He's already on a yellow card. It's unlucky. He does know, and but it's great play from Jack Grealish again. Fantastic talent.
And then he's involved here.
Well, look at Kodja again, getting the ball outside of the foot, past to Grealish. And you know what? I'd expect him to get the shot away, but
he can't believe his luck because he sees the lunge. He thinks great.
And Rudiger Stead puts it in the back. You know, I've got to say that's 7 unbeaten, winning 4 of them. He's really instilled a great belief in the squad.
Yeah, it's all clicking, isn't it, under Steve Bruce? Here is the Villa manager.
to be fair to the players, they're starting to realise exactly what the Championship's about. So all credit must go to them. You know, we've pointed them in the right direction of what we believe, what you need to get out of this, and they've showed it today.
Another game, another win for Villa under Steve Bruce. Lynsey.
Yeah, the Brucey effect in full flow. Our last 2 matches from the Championship, starting with Preston against Burton, who have been finding goals hard to come by.
Without an away win this season, a trip to Deepdale looked difficult for Burton. But Ben Turner's early header was the first sign that this would be no ordinary afternoon. It was midway through the first half when the Brewers got their goal. Top scorer Jackson Irvine recording Burton's first on the road since September. The story of Preston's season so far has been a good response to a lacklustre start, and that was the plot here too, with Callum Robinson looking increasingly lively as the first half progressed. Soon afterwards he was picked out by Aidan McGeady's beautiful pass, but John McLaughlin made the save once again. It would take something special to beat the Burton keeper. Well, something unusual. Robinson in where it hurts, and it probably did when the ball struck his face and found the net. Funny though, when it meets an equaliser, you don't feel it one bit. A winner wasn't forthcoming though. Alex Baptiste went closest for Preston, but the Brewers were to claim a useful point.
Ipswich cruised to their biggest win of the season against a surprisingly listless QPR. Grant Ward's persistence eventually leading to the first goal on 13 minutes. Ward's 5th of the season, but his first since August. This was Rangers manager Ian Holloway's 2nd game at the helm, so his players are no doubt still trying to make a good impression on the new gaffer. Well, Alex Smithies certainly made some kind of impression. One of those look-away-now moments for the keeper, and an I can't believe my luck moment for Luke Varney. That was Ipswich 2 up on 54 minutes, and 7 minutes later they were out of sight. More pressure from the home side, an optimistic shot from Cole Skews, but Tom Lawrence was perfectly placed to latch onto it, the Welsh international's 2nd goal of the campaign. The closest Rangers came to hitting the target was an effort from Sandro, which came off the post. Holloway clearly has his work cut out, but this was impressive stuff from Mick McCarthy's side, who haven't exactly been known for their goal scoring this season. Smithies might have been guilty of one howler, but he also made a number of good saves, like this one from Ward, or it could have been a lot worse.
Scoring goals is the most important thing, and that's coming from a defender who love keeping clean sheets and love my team keeping clean sheets. But we kept 7 clean sheets out of 11 at one stage, but we weren't scoring, so we're having 0-0 draws. So 3-0 makes a difference.
The game switched on that 2nd goal, really, and the spirit of my team just went after that, unfortunately.
Ian Holloway and QPR back down to earth, but the biggest win of the season for Ipswich. Jamie, Mick McCarthy has been under pressure, facing a bit of criticism, but he couldn't have asked for a better response today.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic result, and I'm surprised he's been getting a bit of stick because, you know, he's a fantastic manager, and you know, he would have been in this situation before where he's, you know, had a few games where it's not gone his way, but, you know, we all know how to get the boys motivated, and you know, that's a great win for them, and you know, they'll be fine.
I've got to say, very unjust criticism. I think the fans have got to be a little bit realistic, not got the money there. And OK, the results have been indifferent, but the players are showing passion, desire, and today, fantastic goals.
Great win for them. Now, looking at the table, Rotherham stay bottom, 8 points adrift of Wigan, who play Huddersfield on Monday night. Cardiff drop into the relegation places, and only goal difference keeps Wolves out of the bottom 3.
Here's the other end of the table. Newcastle's lead over Brighton at the top has been cut to just 2 points. Reading are 4 points off the Seagulls, while Birmingham move into 4th and Leeds jump up to 5th. Norwich drop out of that top 6.
Stay with us. A full goal rush from Sky Bet Leagues 1 and 2, where promotion chasing Bradford suffered a stunning setback at struggling Swindon Town.
Hello everyone, welcome to Goal Rush on Football on 5. We're going to start in Sky Bet League One with Sheffield United and their trip to the Valley.
Charlton have appointed Carl Robinson as their new manager, but he had just a watching brief today. Kevin Nugent took the team again, having won 2 out of 2 in temporary charge.
A new manager in charge at the Valley, but the same displays of dissent towards the club's ownership from the fans as balls, a fleur and miniature taxis were thrown on in the opening minute, fans urging Roland de Châtelet to get in the next black cab out. Unbeaten in 14 league games, Sheffield United's last defeat was a few stops down from the Valley at Millwall. A well-worked free kick allowed Mark Duffy to give them the lead here. Charlton's equaliser came late from Patrick Bauer. Caretaker Kevin Nugent ends his tenure unbeaten just, so Robinson has his work cut out if he's not going to be the latest managerial victim at the Valley.
We controlled the game from start to finish, but, you know, keep saying it, you know, ruthless and relentless, and we should have won that game 3 or 4-0, so nobody else to blame apart from ourselves.
What's your message going to be to Carl Robinson, who takes over Monday?
It'll be that, you know, these are a good group of players. Obviously, I'm sure there always is. There'll be a few different things he wants to do and maybe implement a few different ideas, but he's going into a dressing room that's a solid dressing room.
Scunthorpe keeper Luke Daniels' fog vision was clearly up to scratch when he tipped a Chris Maguire free kick round the post early on, and the League One runaway leaders would shade a closely contested first half. After Simon Eastwood had initially done well to keep out Dwayne Holmes, the Scunny midfielder soon had another go, getting just enough on a Kevin von Veen cross to deftly glance home. Oxford, though, more than matched it with a spectacular header of their own. A flying Phil Edwards the man to convert Alex McDonald's corner. It's 22 home games without defeat now for Scunny, breaking a proud club record that stood since 1951. And they very nearly won this one too, as Jamie Ness fired just wide.
Last season, Northampton couldn't stop winning at home. This time around, they're finding it hard to stop losing in front of the Cobblers faithful. Although, had Matt Taylor scored, it might have been a different story. Instead, it's 3 home defeats out of 4, thanks to upwardly mobile Bolton and Zach Clough's 7th goal of an impressive season. For them, it's 10 wins out of 12 and counting.
Swindon's Anton Rodgers hadn't scored in the league for 15 months. So where on earth did this come from? Bradford keeper Colin Doyle probably not the only one asking that question, as Rodgers fired the Robins into a 19th minute lead. An advantage they would hold on to despite late pressure from the Bantams, for whom James Hansen shaved the post late on. Rodgers then the unlikeliest of match winners.
Frank Nouble's last league goal came in March 2015, so he'll be claiming Gillingham's opener for sure, despite what we think might have been a double deflection. But make no mistake, the Gills were well worth victory here. It took a Conrad Logan save to deny Bailey Cargill the second goal. There was no stopping J. Emmanuel Thomas though. His power and persistence helped Gillingham make the game safe in the 89th minute. Pumping Rochdale is no mean feat. They'd scored 10 and conceded none in their previous 3 matches. Here Dale got a dose of their own medicine. Mark Byrne completing a perfect day for the Gills.
Great results there today for Swindon, Oxford and Charlton. And Jamie, for Gillingham as well, where you were most recently injury cut short that stay. What's your current situation?
Yeah, I mean, I had a torn ligament in my ankle, so it was a difficult situation for me. So I went to the chairman, said that I needed to go away and sort myself out. And, I'd done 2 months rehab with, the PFA, St George's Park. And now I'm just looking to get back. I can re-sign for a team on the 1st of Jan. So
is that the plan, the January window, you're hoping to sign?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I've been working on my fitness, and I've stepped it up now, and I'm obviously speaking to the agent now to get in somewhere, train full-time again, and, hopefully that'll be the perfect scenario to get in and get some games again.
Wish you well with that. Just briefly, Chris, let's have a look at that Swindon winner today.
Unbelievable, wasn't it? Luke Williams, he had them set up very well drilled. Yeah, but this is a fantastic strike. Colin Doyle had no chance there whatsoever. Anton Rodgers, fantastic strike from distance as well. Unbelievable. Like you say, keeper had no chance.
one of those, you're lining up and think, what? He's not hit it from there.
Oh, he did.
He did.
OK, we'll stay with League One. Steven Gerrard will not be the new manager of MK Dons, saying the job has come too soon for him now that he's ended his playing career.
Which is exactly what Alan Kirbysley said about Gerrard on this sofa last week. Well, Steve Cotterill remains the bookies' favourite to take over a side who were without a win in 8 and in the bottom 4. Today, they went to Coventry.
These two clubs started the day divided by that dreaded dotted line at the foot of the table, with Coventry just on the survival side. But they've lost their last 3 games and went behind here when a fine move was finished off by Ed Upson's well-placed header. Dons weren't celebrating for long, though, as Coventry replied swiftly and sensationally. Opportunist and absolutely magnificent from teenage midfielder Ben Stevenson. But for the crossbar, Daniel Powell would have restored the visitors' advantage in the second half. But the game's turning point came when Stevenson undid all his previous good work with a reckless challenge on Dean Lewington, which drew a straight red card. Don's retribution was swift and decisive as Upson swept in his second goal to end the club's 8-match winless run and leave Coventry below them under that dotted line.
A midweek win had lifted Chesterfield off the bottom, but they got off to a poor start here, as after just 3 minutes, Peter Hartley was leading the way for Bristol Rovers. That victory at MK Dons had ended a Chesterfield run of 8 straight defeats, so if this is the start of a revival, they need to turn around their home form. Ian Evatt obliged with his first since October last year. Maintaining that momentum means keeping Jay O'Shea scoring. He found the net on Tuesday night. Gary Little's cross found him here to give the Spyrites the lead. And O'Shea made it 3-1. That free kick, his 6th strike in 6 games. No league goals in October. Chesterfield have 6 in their last 2 matches. But Danny Wilson will have had a nervous final quarter of an hour as Billy Bowden pulled one back for Rovers with his first of this campaign. Chesterfield still in the danger zone, but now 2 points from safety.
Shrewsbury halted a run of 2 defeats but had to settle for a point against obdurate Port Vale. Jack Annick in the visitors' goal denying AJ Leach-Smith. Junior Brown could possibly have done better with the rebound. Vale showed very little. Birmingham loanee Alex Jones trying his luck from a tight angle. 1 league win in 8 has seen them slump to mid-table. But that's a far more comfortable place than where the Shrews find themselves. With Annick denying Adam El Abd and repelling all attacks, Shrewsbury remain rock bottom, 5 points from safety.
On September 27th, Bury was second in the League One table. 9 straight defeats since has seen them plummet to 19th. So when James Vaughan put them in front against Millwall, you can forgive Bury fans for not getting too carried away. But then Scott Burgess showed the Millwall back four a clean set of heels, and when he matched his pace with a measured ball for Vaughan, the home side had 23 minutes to protect their 2-goal lead. But they lasted just 2 before Fred Onyedinma's little dink was met by Niall Mayer's outstretched arm. Mayer had to go, and Sean Williams would have the chance to convert the penalty. Convert he did, and a team down to 10 men who had forgotten how to win conceded the almost inevitable equaliser when Callum Butcher headed in 4 minutes from time. And there was little resistance when Marlon Romeo crossed for Aidan O'Brien in stoppage time to complete the comeback. Absolute heartbreak for Bury.
Back-to-back defeats and 4 league games without a win have left Walsall looking anxiously behind them. On another day, things might have improved for them. First, Andreas Macris couldn't quite negotiate a way past the near post. And then Scott Laird's deflected cross clipped the frame of the same goal. The Southend's 7-match unbeaten run looked under threat. The visitors did have chances. Neil Etheridge saved superbly from Stephen McLaughlin. Amazingly, Southend have now gone 7 years and 28 league matches without a defeat in the month of November.
Just goal difference separating these two sides before this match. Fleetwood have scored in every league game this season and kept that run going when Cian Bulger headed in his first league goal for the club. Fleetwood dominated the opening exchanges and Bobby Grant beat keeper James Shea, but not the Wimbledon post. Although the Dons have struggled to score on the road of late, no problems at home. 10 in their last 2. They were level when Tom Elliott's header was deflected in by top scorer Dominic Polion. And Elliott was again involved as the Dons took the lead with a quarter of an hour to go. He was brought down by Joe Davis. And Dean Parrott, on his return from suspension, scored his 3rd of the season. Fleetwood was staring at a 4th straight league defeat on the road. Until, in injury time, Conor McLaughlin scored his 2nd in a week. Little between these two sides beforehand, nothing between them at the final whistle.
Let's take a look at the table then. Bolton have cut Scunthorpe's lead at the top to 4 points, while Sheffield United dropped to 3rd. Bradford, Rochdale and Peterborough all stay where they are. Posh had their game with Oldham called off today.
Here's the other end of the table. Shrewsbury stay bottom, Chesterfield move above Oldham, while Coventry have dropped back into the relegation places.
Stay with us for all the League Two action that's coming next, including news of a half-time bust-up at Portsmouth and a Charlie Wyke hat-trick that saw a significant change at the top of the table. Welcome back to Goal Rush. Our Sky Bet League 2 action starts with Doncaster against Leyton Orient, who sacked manager Alberto Cavasin on Wednesday.
The Italian lasted just 7 weeks. He was the 8th manager of owner Francesco Bacchetti's 2.5-year reign. Assistant manager Andy Edwards is now in charge until the end of the season.
The early signs at the Keepmoat suggested a change in fortune for Orient. Callum Kennedy's first goal for the O's couldn't have been much better. But crucially, they couldn't take the clean sheet into the interval. Chelsea loanee Jordan Houghton equalising in first half injury time. The O's defensive resolve evaporated in the second half. Josh Corona's trip on Matty Blair was the point of no return. Or rather, Liam Mandeville's penalty was, Donny ahead just before the hour. Their 3rd straight win was in the bag 7 minutes later. Another penalty, Tommy Rowe brought down this time. Mandeville again, different corner, same result. Same old for the O's too. Tough times ahead at the Matchroom Stadium.
We need to work hard first and foremost. We need to stick together as a group of players, as a group of staff, and work hard, simplify our game a little bit, and keep clean sheets. That's the key to it. You know, at the moment we're conceding too many goals.
Nothing like some late autumn sunshine to warm the cockles on the Lancashire coast, and although we were blinded by the light, referee Darren England wasn't and spotted a push. Michael Rose wasn't dazzled either, as he made sure from the penalty spot. Morecambe hadn't won in their previous 7 at home, while Plymouth had won their previous 7 on the road, and the league leaders looked threatening when Oscar Threlkeld was left unmarked at the back post. But hopes of another win to savour on the long coach journey back to Devon disappeared rapidly just after half-time. Jordan Slew threw himself to the floor, according to referee England, who ended his afternoon. So could the 10 men of Plymouth hold on? No, they couldn't. Peter Murphy with the winner, which means the Pilgrims have now lost 3 on the spin.
Defeat for Plymouth meant Carlisle would top the table with a win, but they didn't start well. Pat Hoban gave Mansfield the lead. Now, warning, if you're counting the goals at Brunton Park, you're going to need both hands. The Cumbrians are unbeaten at home this season, and just 7 minutes after going behind, a Nicky Adams cross found joint top scorer Jason Kennedy to score his 9th of this campaign. But it was the other player heading Carlisle's goal rankings who was about to have a memorable day. Charlie Wyke heading them in front, Adams again the provider, and a Danny Granger cross meant Wyke could again use his head to put Carlisle 3-1 in front. With 10 minutes to go, Keith Curle will have been relishing this encounter with the side where he began his managerial career. Referee Seb Stockbridge spotting a handball, and Wyke, who only had 3 league goals before last weekend, scored from the spot to make it 6 in the last week alone. Now, time to look at your other hand. Danny Rose, who was brought on and scored the winner against Blackpool midweek, again came off the bench to pull one back for the Stags. But you don't leave Brunton Park early. A winner in the 97th minute last week, slightly earlier for the last goal here. 95th, Reggie Lamb the scorer. Carlisle take their chance, they go top of the table.
Portsmouth boss Paul Cook was forced to admit that an incident involving Christian Burgess and Michael Doyle at half-time forced him to haul off the 2 players at the break. 2 key players not around to prevent Stephen Schumacher from firing Stevenage in front. With 15 minutes left to play, they were 2 up. Matt Godden grateful for a second chance in quick succession, to beat Pompey keeper David Ford. But while Gareth Evans crossed for Michael Smith to smash home a third goal in a week, 10 minutes from time to set up a nervy finale, Stevenage held on for their 4th straight away win.
Exeter hadn't beaten Luton at home since 1967, and a home league win of any sort must feel almost as long for Grecian fans, but at least they got a point here. Keeper Christy Pym staying alert to keep Ollie Lee at bay. Only a second league point of the season this for homesick Exeter, but it was so nearly that desperately needed first win since April. But for Ollie Watkins and City supporters everywhere, the agonising wait goes on.
This game began with a tribute to Grimsby legend Paul Futcher, who sadly died this week. It was the first ever EFL meeting between these clubs, and Crawley seized the initiative when Adi Yusuf picked out top scorer James Collins, who calmly rolled in his 7th league goal of the season. But Grimsby have an even more potent weapon in their armoury in Omar Bogle, and in first half stoppage time he scored his 15th goal of an impressive first ever EFL campaign. Crawley, though, regained the lead with Collins turning provider this time, setting up Jordan Roberts, who fired in his debut English League goal with a commendable flourish. And he soon had another in rather more bizarre fashion, with Mariners keeper James McEwen all at sea. The irrepressible Bogle produced a brilliant stoppage time riposte for his 7th goal in the last 4 games, but it was too late for Grimsby, who dropped out of the playoff places.
So a disappointing result for Pompey. Paul Cook has confirmed as well that the half-time substitutions of captain Michael Doyle and Christian Burgess as well, 2 key players, was due to an incident in the dressing room at half-time. It was 0-0 at that point, though, Jamie. How bad would it have to be to sub them both?
You know, something's obviously happened that's pretty serious, you know, and it seems, you know, strange to take off your captain and your centre-half. So, I mean, obviously something's happened there, and, you know...
Well, they won't be playing cards, will they?
Well, I have to second that. I think something very serious. That's your captain, that's your centre-back. You're at home to Stevenage, 0-0. You need the players, the leaders on the pitch. You know, I've played against Michael Doyle through the years. You know what you're going to get with him. You know, he's a hard player, but he's also got a mouth on him as well. I'm not saying what's went on in there.
Then they've got to stay in that dressing room together while the game's going on as well.
For the reason Paul Cook would know that he wants the players on the pitch. For him to take them off, something very serious has happened there, I believe.
All change at the top as well. Carlisle just blowing teams away at the moment, Chris. 25 goals in their last 10 games, top for the first time. But what about Plymouth? That's 3 defeats now in a week.
Well, that's it. It's like I say, it's all about consistency. They've been setting the standards, and you can't let it slip. You know, Keith Curle's doing a fantastic job at Carlisle, scoring a lot of goals. Charlie White, like you say, 6 in the week. It's fantastic, you know. But like you say, if you're playing football, you're seeing a lot of the ball, you're creating chances. You still need to put it in the back of the net, and that's what Carlisle are doing.
Just a blip, do you think, for Plymouth?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've shown character. They've got the players there that they've led the way. They've just got to get back to winning ways.
Right, let's get into our final roundup. We'll start this one with Newport, who slipped back into the bottom 2 on Tuesday after conceding what was a very late goal to lose to Wycombe.
They were at Blackpool, who have been making a steady climb up the table.
Blackpool took just 4 minutes to assert themselves at Bloomfield Road. Brad Potts riding the challenge of Joe Day and his luck to score his 8th of the campaign. Newport, though, can call on a reliable goal scorer of their own, and Rhys Healey showed all the confidence of a man about to score his 4th in 5 games as he took matters into his own hands. The Welsh side could and probably should have built on that when Andy Taylor was penalised for a coming together with Mark Randall, which is where it all started to fall apart for Newport as Sam Slocum kept Sean Rigg out. Blackpool's defeat at Mansfield on Tuesday was their first in over a month, and normal service was resumed when the bounce favoured Jack Payne, who responded with his first goal for the club. The home side's 3rd began as a case of anywhere will do and turned into that'll do nicely, thank you, as Carl Vassell scored his 11th of the season. If the visitors were wobbling on the ropes at that stage, Kelvin Mellor delivered the knockout blow with 7 minutes to go to move them into the playoff places. Newport continued to prop up the rest.
Cambridge had won 3 of their last 5 league games, while Cheltenham had only managed that figure all season. So it was no surprise when Sean Derry's men took the lead early on, thanks to Uche Ikpeazu's 4th goal of the season. And it was pretty much plain sailing from then on. The home side's second goal came when Greg Taylor's cross was headed in powerfully by Luke Berry early in the second half. And it was all over for last season's National League champions 15 minutes from time, when Berry claimed another well-taken goal, his 7th of the season and 50th for Cambridge in all. Billy Waters belatedly got a goal back for Cheltenham, its only real significance being that it took him to 8 for the season, because another defeat keeps his club deep in trouble.
Suddenly, Colchester are enjoying themselves again. Curtis Guthrie got the opening goal against Crewe. He did the same at Yeovil last weekend, but the Utes went on to lose that one. Guthrie was outspoken afterwards, admitting that Colchester were a shambles. Maybe they were words that needed to be said, because since last Saturday, the Utes have hit 7 goals without reply. Owen Garvin made it 2-0 here. A 3-0 win at Cheltenham on Tuesday was Colchester's first win in 11 league games. Back-to-back victories were secured thanks to Dre Wright's goal. And the final flourish was applied in injury time. Brennan Dickinson completing Colchester's revival in some style.
Just a fortnight ago, Wycombe was sitting 2 places above the drop zone, but 3 wins on the trot have made matters more cheerful for the Chairboys. Scott Cashket opening the scoring for them on his first league start this season. In fact, Cashket will argue he's worth starting again. He had his 6th goal in as many appearances at Adams Park to double their lead, and Wycombe's climb continues into the playoff spots.
To be 3 points behind teams like Luton and Portsmouth with the resources they've got, you know, it's fantastic for Wycombe Wanderers. You know, I think only 2,800 fans today, but that's what we are. We fight hard. We're up against it all the time, but it's great when it comes off.
We seemed a little bit leggy, a little bit laboured. Weren't as good with the ball as we have been, and really just coasted through the game, and nothing really happened for us. So that's disappointing.
John Sheridan had to admit his county players were hurting after 3 straight defeats and no goals scored. So when Michael O'Connor curled in a delightful first goal for the club, there was brief respite from the criticism Sheridan said his side had fully deserved. Not for long though, as John Akinde did well to force a fine save from Adam Collin. But the county keeper couldn't prevent Bira Dembele from picking up the pieces. The fighting performance Sheridan promised faded away midway through the second half after a quick-fire double from Luke Gambin. The Malta international's first owed much to a big deflection off Carl Dickinson, while his second of the afternoon and third in 2 games was teed up nicely by Curtis Weston. Barnet had won just 1 of their last 10 games in all competitions, but Martin Allen's side fully deserved this victory against his former employers, even if Graham Burke's well-hit strike allowed Jonathan Fort to pull one back for Notts County.
The relegation battle looks more likely than another promotion chase for Accrington after 4 straight league defeats, and a 5th looked on the cards as Yeovil, unbeaten in 6 league games, took the lead through Otis Khan. But with the Glovers fans gearing up for a happy trip home, the beer then went flat as Romy Bocco pounced in stoppage time to claim his 7th goal of the season and a very welcome point for Stanley.
That result sees Yeovil drop to 13th, while Accrington are down to 20th. Newport stay bottom of the EFL, a point behind Cheltenham and Leyton Orient.
Let's show you the other end of the table. Here we go. Carlisle are now top of the league, above Plymouth, albeit on goal difference. Doncaster are 2 points further back, while Portsmouth and Luton stay 4th and 5th. Wycombe and Blackpool are now into those playoff spots.
That's it from us tonight. Our thanks go to Chris and Jamie. Hopefully we'll see you back out there soon. And a reminder before we go to join George for highlights from the EFL Cup quarter-finals on Wednesday. That's at 10:30 here on Channel 5.
So no wins for any of the teams who started the day as leaders in those 3 divisions, but they'll be feeling good about themselves in Morecambe, Oxford and Blackburn. Good night.